Hola, alligatoritos! Today we are talking about Bad Bunny and Kendall Jenner, who apparently have broken up after less than a year of pretending to date. What? Exactly. What on earth was this couple ever? Like at their best. I think we were either like, huh? Or like, ugh. Like not just yawning, but like bored, angry yawns. Ugh. That's how I felt looking at them because, girl, come on. Come on. But you know what? We're going to talk today about Bad Bun and Sad Bun, Kendall Jenner, and why I think, yeah, this relationship was kind of always bullshit. And you know that I like never say that. I never say that. I'm always the one who's like, no, it's not a PR relationship. I truly don't think that about very many people, but nothing about this couple ever made sense to me. We're going to break that down. Yeah, I don't know. And we're going to talk about dating someone from another culture, the pros and the cons. How many differences are too big? At least that's what I think I'm going to talk about. Honestly, I might just rant because there just seems to be a lot of fuckery afoot right now with celebrities. And you know what? I'm annoyed because I was really hoping to take this next week off and just enjoy time with my fam and Christmas and drink coquito. Since we're talking about Puerto Ricans, I made a big old thing of coquito yesterday. It feels like it's been a week because you drink a little coquito and time becomes a flat circle. If you don't know what it is, it's like a Puerto Rican eggnog minus the egg. I don't make it with egg, but I love it. It's weird that I am super into coquito and it's like a family tradition because I'm Italian and French. You don't care. Do you care about Kendall and Bad Bun? I don't know. We're going to rant about him. I'd hope to take this week off to just enjoy the holiday. No, because we have Selena Gomez dating Andre the Giant. Benny Blanco. Tomato, and Demi Lovato is engaged. Oh, so she's a woman again. That's interesting. Remember how when she was fat, she decided she didn't have a gender and she was a they, it, them, phase, whatever. And the second she lost weight, Ozempic, suddenly she's a girl again. Funny how that works. Funny how non-binary people are never the hot chicks. Sorry, but they're not. And I just feel like if you're out here calling yourself if you're calling yourself by some ridiculous made up thing, please know, please, from the bottom of my heart, know that you look ridiculous. And like no one who has any sense is buying this. And it doesn't look like you've won the game. It looks like you say that because you can't win the game of dating or sex appeal, whatever, that you've decided that you aren't good enough for. You are. That the game just shouldn't exist, that the rules are stupid and you're going to make up your own game. Okay. But we'll get to them when we get to them. Today, we're going to talk about Kendall and Bad Bunny. But before we do, listen. Dear alligators. So I don't like to think of myself as a hoarder. Who does? But I do love decorating. I mean, can you not tell? And I love the holidays. And this is the great thing about holidays. There's always another one around the corner. So as soon as Christmas ends, you know I am that girl out shopping and going ballistic for Valentine's Day, and then it's Easter, and then Arbor Day, and the list goes on and on. As much as I love decorating, I do not love to max out my credit card. So I turn to Teemu. Teemu has been my go-to this holiday season for amazing holiday decorations, from wrapping paper to outfits for my dog to these. Look! I even have another one. There can never be too many festive headbands. Never. Actually, come on in. Let me show you some of the stuff that I've been using to decorate this holiday season from Teemu. Not just my house, but also my dog. This Christmas dog costume, $6.49. A Christmas coffee mug with lid and a spoon, just $11.49. Flocked branches, $2.99. A 10-pack of Christmas cookie boxes with windows, just $5.49. Get these Christmas hand lotions for less than $6 and these snowflake placemats for just $12.99. Get 150 craft paper Christmas gift tags for less than $7. Teemu is really affordable, and right now you can save up to 90% during a site-wide sale. There's free shipping and free returns within 90 days, and hey, if your order is late, you get a $5 credit. I mean, are other sites doing that? No. Take advantage of these savings by downloading the TEMU app right down below at this special dedicated link just for you guys. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have 6 more headbands I have to put on. Happy holidays, alligators, and happy shopping. Okay, so Bad Bunny and Kendall, they broke up. I need to talk about who finds him attractive. I will give it to him. He is symmetrical, but not symmetry that I enjoy. His eyes, to me, feel close together. Oh, is that a unibrow? I just don't get it. I just don't get Bad Bunny. I am Mad Bunny when I hear people say he's hot. I think, and I asked you guys on my Instagram, what's the topic here? Literally every single one of you is like, gay. They're both gay. They're both bi. I have no idea about anything with Bad Bunny. Like, I don't know. I'd never heard of him until Kendall. Like, I kind of had, you know, like I'd heard of him, but now I'm like, I couldn't have picked him out of a lineup. And now that I can, I wish I could go back in time to when I could not. I think his music is weird. And I looked up some of the lyrics. I'm like, these songs are weird. I don't know. He's just not my jam. Good for you if you're into him. Maluma, that's a whole different story. I don't get Bad Bunny. He always just seemed like kind of a cheese dick. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of not a goober, a cheese dick. Not really a douche, because from my point of view, he just kind of lacks the cool factor of a douchebag. Like, I think a douche may be a bit of an upgrade. There's just something about him that's just a little cheesy. I don't know. I'd like what he wears. He always kind of looks like he's wearing girls' clothes. Like, at least one garment is like for a girl. It never made sense with Kendall. Like, I don't think Kendall has like the personality of like 10 Dolly Partons put together. I don't. But I think she has more personality than I think she has enough personality where she needs to speak the same fucking language as the person she's dating. Because I don't picture her having a ton of like sexual heat. Now, you guys have said that's because she's gay. That's why you can't like picture her having these hot pants feelings for this dude. She is a gay person. I have heard this a lot. I think that this is one of those pervasive rumors in Hollywood. And you know, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. And sometimes where you have constant unending rumors, there could be a reason. Sometimes not though. Sometimes not. But I have heard, I remember my old intern when I was working in fashion, he went to like a preppy school in SoCal and knew people that knew her. And it was like, yeah, of course she's gay. Like, she's dating this one chick and blah, blah, blah. And that was just the thing. One thing I also have heard, and I've told this to you guys, is that when she was like 9, she walked in on Bruce dressed in like women's clothing or lingerie, and it like fucked her up, and might have like influenced her sexuality. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. You could see that could have happened, and you could probably draw a conclusion that if it had, that could have a pretty profound impact on how you view men and sex. Speaking of, one of my friends, this is bad, but then when you start to think about it, you're like, I don't know that it's wrong though. He has this theory that he takes it to an extreme. He's like, there are no organic born lesbians. Lesbians are made. Gay men are born, lesbians are made. Because lesbians, for whatever reason, have opted out of men. You know, many times by something very unpleasant and traumatic, but sometimes they're just like, not another one. Like, you know how middle-aged women go gay, like Stacey London, who hosted What Not to Wear? A lot of middle-aged, Kyle Richards, it's like they become invisible to men, or they think that they are, and these lesbians come along and be like, girl, I'll treat you better. Lesbians are very predatory. I know, I'm bisexual, and they're like, they are sneaky like women, but predatory like men. Like, imagine if men were smarter. Lesbians. I don't know that all lesbians are born and not made, but when you look at some of them, you're like, I can see that. I don't know that gay guys are made. Pretty hard to turn a straight dude gay. It's a tough sell. So Kendall and Bad Bun, they haven't, there's like no justification for why. There's no like smoking gun or text or anything like this, but yeah, People is reporting that they've broken up, which if People is reporting it, they probably have. And usually the sources on these are the stars themselves. Maybe his contract ran up. I don't know. But there was always just something about them that just never, there was no chemistry between them. Nothing ever seemed to make sense. Did you kind of get that feeling? Or am I wrong? Are you like, oh no, like I thought they were a totally real couple and like I was super into them? There's something about Kendall, and I can't put my finger on it. You guys are like, we can, she is gay. That just, I don't know. She just doesn't have a lot of like womanly heat to her. I don't know how to say it. And I like Kendall. She's fine. She's very rude in interviews, but whatever. So what are we here to talk about today? Let's talk about dating people of other cultures, because one of you guys did suggest that on Instagram. I thought, okay, that's better than just shredding Kendall for maybe being gay. Like, and I mean, if that is the case, and her mom is like, I don't fucking think so. You're not coming out of the closet. You want to know why? We already got Bruce / Caitlyn. Okay, we're all stuck up on this for now. Or maybe Kendall's like, I don't want to come out because I don't want to be like the queer Kardashian and, you know, be the grand marshal of a pride parade. Maybe she just wants to live her life in something akin to quiet dignity. It wouldn't be so crazy, would it? No. So if she's gay or not, literally, who cares? I don't care. Good for you. Or not, I don't care. People of other cultures. I think a lot of us have like that one or two other cultures that we're like, maybe we're a white girl and we're down with the swirl and we love a black man. I mean, they're so masculine. Or maybe we love a good, like, fiery Latin daddy, a papi. Maybe we love a Scottish man because we spent all winter watching Outlander and we can't separate fact from fiction. My accent's not the best, but I'm trying. Maybe we're a prep school girly and we like those Southern boys or those Wild West cowboys. I think it's natural and healthy to want to really like experiment with totally different types of people. Now, it's healthy because I think dating, like anything in our life, should broaden our horizons. You don't travel to the same place every single time you take a trip, right? God, I hope not. You try different restaurants, different fashion with XO Style Box. You branch out in so many categories. You listen to different music, whatever. And yet with dating, we can very much get in our lane. Oh no, I can only date Jewish guys because I'm Jewish and that's who I want to marry. Like, okay, yeah, there is dating to marry and then there's dating to broaden your intention or your horizons, right? And listen, the pushback to this, the criticism to this is, of course, like, yeah, you're actually talking about someone else's emotions. You're not talking about a different type of chocolate or a Korean barbecue restaurant or vacationing in Belize. You're potentially fucking around with someone's heart and their time and their emotion when you're just kind of studying abroad with the Scottish dude or rebelling with the black man and you have no intention of taking this further. I mean, yeah, that's true. Also, do men always date us with intention? Do they? I don't know. I don't think that they do. We've been talking about this actually this week on the Shallon Entourage. Join 700 girlies from around the world. Bonus videos all week long. We do deep dives on stuff. But I was talking about, because we do Fuckboy Friday. That's what we do every Friday. And I was talking about how fuckboys, or not even fuckboys, men date. Men in New York City especially date like this. I call it chip dating because they're always preppy guys named Chip or Trip or Bickford or something like that. I literally dated guys named all three of those things. But they have like an age in their mind where they will pick a wife and settle down. It's usually around 28 to 32. Let's say it's 28. It does not matter if you're a Victoria's Secret model. In fact, I know Victoria's Secret models and I've watched this happen to them. It doesn't matter who they meet under 28. Does not matter. They aren't marrying her. They're not even going to move in with her. They're just going to date her. They're not going to date her with intention. They'll be interest. They'll date with interest. She might meet the family, come to the vineyard one summer. All right. He's not going to ask for grandma's ring. He's just not going to do it. And guys don't feel any compunction about this. They're not like, is this unethical? They're like, hey man, if she doesn't like it, she can leave. You know, I'm not being mean to her. I'm not cheating. I'm not necessarily lying. I'm lying by omission. You know, I'm not telling her, Rachel, I will never marry you. Okay? I'm never going to marry you. But they will push it off and just kind of string her along. And when that scary age hits for them, they will break up with this girl, usually, and they will literally marry the next person that comes along because now they are dating with intention. And the girl they picked for a reason. And many times she will be your inferior. If you have dated the Trip Bickfords, she will appear to be your inferior. And you're like, I'm so sorry, I am a Victoria's Secret model. And she, what are those eyebrows exactly about? Does she have any? They just fade into her face. Her face is like a bowl of oatmeal with 2 raisins for eyes, and that's it. But he's got his own metric. He has his own rubric, and she fit it, and boom, he's done. He got it. Okay, now we're getting it done. Why do men do this? Because they are focused on running the world. They're focused on running the world, okay? And so they want to date someone. They don't want to be alone. And she's going to check some boxes, but he's going to keep her kind of encapsulated in a little jar mode. And he's going to write on that jar, fun, but not long-term, whatever. And again, he will feel no type of way about this. There will be no guilt. There will be no pushback from his friends. There will be nothing. No sleepless nights. It's like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm just having fun. They're focused solely on what they need and their trajectory. So let's start this conversation over again. How guilty should you feel for dating someone just because they're really different than you and you're studying abroad with this whole other culture and this type of person? I'm sorry, my answer is not very. Unless you pick someone who is just the biggest sweetheart in the whole world and they are really serious about you. Listen, if you just want to date a Scottish dude, date a shitty one, okay? Don't date a really good guy who's completely in love with you. Don't do that. Because listen, ostensibly, you kind of don't care what's beneath the surface. You want the accent and the kilt, and then he doesn't wear anything under it, which is kind of weird and gross. You don't care. You're sort of acting out a fantasy in real life. You're cosplaying. Then don't really get someone's heart involved. Don't act like you're going to. But let's say that you're not studying abroad. Let's say that you're like, no, I would totally move to a different country and I totally want to date a black guy, a Latin guy, a Korean guy, a Russian dude, whatever. What could possibly go wrong? A lot of things. Now, I'm not saying that these relationships are doomed. Not at all. Not at all. They work out a lot. But there's going to be different challenges and different hurdles that you won't find with someone who is in your tribe, okay? We are tribal animals. We are. There's no point in denying that. And when you can look at people through that filter, human behavior makes so much more sense. It makes sense why it's so painful if we're excluded from something, we're kicked out of a tribe. It makes sense down to things like why we pretend we don't have a cold and say it's just allergies and go to a party anyway. Wait, what? Because we don't want to be a pariah, the sick, weak thing that's cast out of the tribe. It all goes back to that. And so when we can think of dating in these terms, of course you're going to have an easier time. Not a guaranteed positive outcome. Just like on the flip side, it's not guaranteed that you'll break up if you're from two different worlds. You will have a smoother ride when you are from the same tribe. The good news is we are so diverse as humans now. That tribe, I mean, we've got tons of them. We have our race, we have the language we speak, our religion, our hobbies and recreations, our goals for the future. These are the pillars of compatibility that we've talked about a lot. So how many really matter? How many really matter? Let's go through the pillars of compatibility again. First and foremost, sexual compatibility. You got to be into one another. 2, goals and dreams. You're working towards the same thing. You both want kids, you both don't. You both want to live in a small town, you're both city kids. 3, hobbies and recreation. This one is way more important than you think it is. Truly, my husband and I did not recreate in the same way, and I think it was a large factor in our divorce. He was a homebody, I'm an extrovert. That's difficult. Do you like to do the same things? How do you spend Sunday mornings? How do you spend Friday nights? Are they compatible? What are we on? 4, 5? Shared value systems. This is also huge. Are you the same religion? Do you have the same ideas about politics, crime and punishment, how kids should be raised? And again, when you're single and you're young and you're just dating, you're like, who cares? If you're building a life with someone, you care. And when you're young and you're dating, religion might not seem like a huge deal, and it probably isn't at that time. But if you get together in a real way and you have kids, trust me, it becomes a big deal. How you want to raise children becomes a big deal. Politics, yeah. I mean, not many people are going to break up over trans rights when they're 19, but as you get older, it becomes clear that you might see the world and move through the world in 2 completely different ways. So you've got sex, goals, hobbies, values. Oh, communication. Can you guys talk to one another? When you get mad, does someone ice the other person out? Is someone throwing around personal attacks and character assassinations when you're trying to actually communicate, and vice versa? That's kind of like the 5th secret compatibility pillar that I add on there. It's not something psychologists necessarily define, but if you've ever dated someone who does not communicate the way you do or won't communicate at all, it's actually pretty goddamn important. So which one is the most important? Which one do you have to have? All of them. I know, you have to have all of them. You have to have all of them. To varying degrees, but you got to have them all. But tell me, and we talked about these compatibility pillars before. Is there one that you're like, I actually don't care? Like maybe for you, hobbies are like a very distant on the list. It's like, yeah, that's great if we both like cross-country skiing, but like honestly, in my free time, he can go off and do whatever he wants. Maybe that doesn't matter to you. Maybe the religion thing doesn't matter. You're like, he can be a Muslim and I'm a Catholic. It doesn't matter. Maybe. But I think when we date, we should go into every possible interaction telling ourselves, no, we need them all to be checked. All of these things have to be present. Let's err on the side of caution and just assume that I'm right, because I actually sometimes am. Sometimes I am. And be like, no, Shallon says we need them all. Okay, yeah, just listen to Shallon. And I am going to take a real hard, ruthless look at how compatible I am with someone in these capacities. And if there is one that is gravely out of sync, we do not have sexual chemistry. That man does not know how to communicate. He has hobbies I will never in a million years want to do. What if we just cut those people off the list? You know why we don't? Because we're going through life dating with a beggar's mentality. I know I have for a very long time. And it seems like so much of the time your options are settle or stay single, right? And settling is different than compromising. Compromising to me is based on communication. You're both very clear about your needs and you're working to find a middle ground. Settling is, well, I guess I don't need that. It is total capitulation in order to keep someone around. Even if the outcome is exactly the same. You know what? I actually don't need to go fishing every weekend. It's coming from a place when you compromise of power and purposefulness. When you settle, it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of fear. So what does this have to do with cultural dating? Well, you can absolutely find people that click all of those pillars of compatibility who are in a different culture. But there are definite differences. I mean, you guys, we'll talk about it in the comments, but like if you have dated like an Italian man, like from Italy, their concept of who makes the money in the household, who makes the rules, how often the mama comes over, that could be drastically different than a dude who grew up in San Diego. Same with like something religious. Just because you're both Jewish, there's a lot of shades of gray in there. There's a lot of different types to play that out, a lot of different ways. Are you compatible in that? And it's tough because when you're looking at dating someone from a totally different culture, I think almost these pillars of compatibility have to get like more granular. It's like, okay, we have the same values. It's like, no. I get that you're both Catholic. What does that like mean? Okay, is this like no meat on Friday Catholic? Condoms are a sin. If you get divorced, you're going to hell kind of Catholic? Or is this like, yeah, Catholic, it's chill. My last name's Gaffigan, Catholic, whatever. You have to get like really deep in on that and look at how their culture influences that. Because as much as you want someone, we love the idea of like, they threw it all away to be with me. That almost never happens. And you kind of don't want it to happen. I don't want someone to renounce their fill in the blank, their citizenship, their religion, the kind of food they like, their hairstyle, maybe their hairstyle, because you know how guys are. I don't want someone to give up everything to be with me. That sounds like a lot of pressure on my shoulders. And vice versa. I'm not giving up, honestly, almost anything to be with someone. Like, I will give up half of the bed some nights. Other nights you can sleep in one of the guest rooms. I need my beauty sleep. So you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to give up to be with this person? You wish that it would be like two people who live in two different cities. It's like, you know what? You leave Austin, I'm leaving Miami, we're gonna move to Vancouver, and it's gonna be a fresh city for both of us. We don't know anyone. It's like we're on equal footing here. Cultures don't work like that. It's like you stop speaking English and I'll stop speaking Arabic and we're just gonna learn Tagalog together and have a whole fresh start. It doesn't work that way. So how can you find that middle ground? I mean, it's difficult. I'm not saying I have the answer. I don't really date people from other cultures mostly. I mean, for starters, I live in Montana. There are not any. And that's just never really been my vibe. I've dated Black people, if you can consider that from a different culture. But I mean, yeah, I think if you're a different race, there's different cultural norms, there's different vocabularies. Like, it's not a bad thing. And I don't think it's weird to say that there is. I think it's weirder to pretend there's not, you know? But I've dated like Asian guys, like, oh, I find Asian guys so foxy. And I've dated Australians and the French and Scottish dudes and whatever. White dudes from affluent families are just kind of my wheelhouse. They just feel like home. More so even than white country boys. Like, I like them. And to me, that's almost a different culture. It's like a different religion than how I was raised, a different political standpoint, different hobbies. Different hobbies are huge. That's crazy, right? Like, they hunt, and I'm used to dating like Chips, Trips, and Bigfords. They don't hunt. They like look at the NASDAQ. I don't even know what that is. But those dudes feel like home to me. Just the Kirkland signature white preppy guy. And I think we're pretty much always going to gravitate towards what feels familiar. Psychologically, this is the truth. And again, I'm not saying that your relationship is doomed if you're dating someone from another culture. Hello, we see it literally everywhere. But I think if you can go into it acknowledging that you are going to have to maybe have harder and more clear conversations, bolder conversations at the beginning. Like, now hold on, what does Jewish mean to you? What does Democrat mean to you? What does Sunday night mean to you? What does all of this mean to you? And you might be surprised how much commonality you have, but go into it eyes wide open. And you know, when I think about it, the people who I see who partner up from different cultures, in a lot of ways, they might have much stronger relationships. Now that I'm thinking about my friends, like one of my friends, she studied abroad in Ireland and met this guy. And I mean, they've been married for like 10 years. They've got a little baby, and they met when she was like 18. But her family is Irish, like Chicago Irish Catholic. He's obviously regular Irish. And so there was a lot of commonality and overlap there. But even other people in like interracial relationships, like maybe their relationships are stronger because they have had to search more for common ground. I don't know. And maybe they've had to have much more to the point conversations about things and search a little bit beyond the surface for what they do have in common versus like, you're from Connecticut? Oh my gosh, me too. You went to boarding school? Me too. Maybe they're getting to know each other on a deeper level because the similarities aren't so obviously presenting. I don't know. What do you think? I'm sorry that this video doesn't have more advice. It's more of a question because I think that this is a really interesting take. I mean, you know, I'm such like a cultural sort of anthropologist. Like, I talk a lot about our caveman brain and we're tribal creatures. And so from that standpoint, it makes no sense that we would date someone from another tribe, another culture, right? It just is like, it's a lot of weirdness to overcome it's like, wait, this is what you cook? This is what you do on Christmas Eve? This is craziness. It would make sense, but also it's very stimulating. And I think we look at a lot of relationships that go belly up. It's because everyone gets so fucking bored with one another. I mean, just so bored. Like, you again. No, I get it. Like, there's nothing new to discover because maybe you are too similar. It's interesting. I do think in some ways, not opposites attract, because remember, we went through those pillars of compatibility, but stimulators attract. I am very attracted to people who can broaden my horizons. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I also really love to travel. I am not at all neurotic, which means I can recover from things. Neuroses is actually a psychological metric. It's someone who they can't roll with the punches, man. They just are not very elastic. Like if a flight gets canceled or their bags get lost, they come the fuck undone. Like, neurotic people shouldn't really travel. They make it a nightmare for everyone else. I'm not like that. I'm very elastic. I have a very high chaos tolerance. That's actually another metric. And so I like dating people who are very opposite of me. I find them fascinating, you know? But like I said, I feel most comfortable with the Chips, Trips, and Bickfords. But are we all looking for comfort? When does comfort tip into boredom? When does stimulation tip into otherness? Like, I don't feel comfortable here. I don't understand this. I'm exhausted. I need someone who feels like home. I need someone that's easy to be around, and I don't have to wonder why we have all this peanut oil in the kitchen. What are we going to do with this? What do you cook? I don't know. I think it's different for different people. When you look at the people who are in cross-cultural relationships. Do you think that they are kind of neurotic or not? Like, do you see any sort of like correlation there? I'm trying to think about the people I know. I wouldn't say that the neurotic people I know, they're dating, they're twins. They're dating another boarding school guy who played hockey at Dartmouth and blah, blah, blah. They're dating another Jewish boarding school kid and blah, blah, blah. Like they're dating within their tribe. They're dating within their tribe. Huh. That's interesting. And when I think of the people who are the most resilient, yeah, wow. Okay, this is weird. Now that I'm like starting to look at this, I'm thinking of my friends who've been with people, or even when I think of like my most resilient, smart, like capable friends, they're dating people who seem nothing like them. They don't look like them. They might not be in their age bracket. Like, I mean, do you guys know I have a boyfriend now? His name's Evan. I hard launched him on my Instagram the other day. He is adorable. He's young. He's 23. And to me, I've dated, you guys know, I date younger men. I really didn't mean to this time. I swear, this was an accident. My friend set us up, just maybe as friends, kind of. I don't know. I didn't mean to. But I've always liked dating younger guys because they were very stimulating. It's like, oh my God, what's this music? And what's this like vocabulary term? Chuggy, is that what I am? Thank you. Like, I just found it very stimulating and interesting. And so to me, that was like outside the tribe, But in a way, because they're like just white boys from the suburbs, like college educated white boys, like the Chips, Trips, and Bigfords, they were still sort of within my overall tribe of like comfortability, but a little exciting within that. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you dated someone from a different culture? What was the challenge? What was the hardest part? What was something that was easier than you thought it was going to be? What ultimately spelled the end of the relationship? Have you dated someone who you don't speak that language? I can't do that. I can't. And if you're in the Shallon entourage, you know that Mr. Jet, a guy that wouldn't even say we dated. I don't even know. We were involved. After me, and is like with her, is dating a woman who it seems like she cannot speak English. And like, no shade to people who can't speak English, but to go from me, like queen of words, and I never shut up, and we'd have these like amazing conversations and sarcasm and the banter. It's like, and you're going to someone you have to use Google Translate with? You have to be fucking kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. That's 2 guys that I've dated did that. 2. One married her, and they literally communicate with Google Translate. Like, what? What do I do to men? That makes this happen? You know what though? They're happy. So there must be those pillars of compatibility that there weren't with me. So it just goes to show, culture isn't everything. Language evidently isn't everything. Both women have big tits though. So maybe women need the 4 pillars of compatibility and men only need 2. That's all for today. We'll be back next time. Also tell me your topic suggestions for Benny Blanco, Selena Gomez, and Demi Lovato getting engaged with a pear-shaped diamond. I'll see you later, Shalligators. Don't forget, if you're sick of your wardrobe, if you just are kind of sick of your overall vibe and want to branch out without breaking the bank or the earth, join me with XO Style Box, our clothing rental subscription service, unlimited swaps a month, and the first month is free. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Go ahead and click the link down below, and I'll see you later, Shalligators.